Hi, I'm Tanner.
And I'm Allie.
And we're the Kalinas. And today we want to talk to you guys about how to choose your confirmation saint.
I feel like this is the time of the year when you're either like in confirmation class, you're in RCIA, and you start getting asked by your teachers, like, have you thought about picking a confirmation saint? And I know for me, like, I didn't really understand the whole concept of this, so we're hoping we can break that down for you guys a little bit.
Yeah, but before we talk about how to choose one, we want to talk to you first about why we even choose a confirmation saint in the first place. So in the Bible, from the beginning to the end, someone would get a new name before they were commissioned to do something great.
For example, Abram and Sarai, their names changed to Abraham and Sarah. Jacob's name changed to Israel. And Peter in the New Testament, his name used to be Simon and it changed to Peter. All these things happen before these people are sent out to make disciples.
And in our confirmation, you're about to be sent out to go make disciples of all the nations. When we're confirmed, we take on the responsibility of the church to help the church fulfill its mission.
So in the same way that these Old Testament and New Testament peoples took on a new name before they were sent out, we also take on a new name in a sense when we pick our confirmation saint.
Which is really awesome. And I think we should also say to you at home watching this video that you don't have to have a confirmation saint, but it's a really great way to, one, have an intercessor in heaven for you, to have a spiritual role model that you can look up to, and then have a direct connection to the communion of saints.
Also, we want to really encourage you to choose a confirmation saint, even if you don't have to, even if it's not required. Because I know for me, as someone who came into the church a little bit later in life, it was a beautiful way for me to understand like who are the saints and like why should they be important to us. So for me, we'll share a little bit about how we chose ours. My confirmation saint is Saint Therese of Lisieux, just a phenomenal saint. And when I picked her, I honestly didn't even know the depth of how awesome she was. But I ended up picking her because a priest came up to me and encouraged me that she would be a good saint for me to look into. And so I looked into her, and it turns out that her feast day is actually my birthday. And so when I saw that that was the case, I was like, okay, this might be a sign, and I think I should choose Saint Therese. And as I've gotten older and I've looked back at her life and her story, I've like really connected with her. And it's just really beautiful to see that the Lord really blesses whoever we choose as a saint.
That is certainly true. I mean, I got confirmed my sophomore year of high school, and I went to high school at Dallas Jesuit, so a Jesuit high school. And St. Ignatius of Loyola was the founder of the Society of Jesus, what we know as the Jesuits today. And he also had scrupulosity, which I really struggled with at this time in high school, still do, but praise God, it's a lot better than it used to be in high school. And so because of those two things, I chose St. Ignatius of Loyola to be my confirmation saint. And over years, my life and his life have paralleled in more than a handful of ways. It's pretty wild.
Now that might sound a little bit intimidating because both Tanner and I are sitting here being like, oh, we really connect with the confirmation saint that we chose. And like we're many years down the road now from our confirmation. So don't be intimidated to pick a saint because the Lord will bless whoever you choose. It shouldn't be like a extremely anxiety-filled decision. And just know that whoever it is, the Lord put them in your life for a reason.
Yeah, and you're not going to be like another replica of this saint. It doesn't mean, if you choose Padre Pio, that means that you have to be a Capuchin friar.
If you choose St. John Vianney and you're a man, it doesn't mean that you're going to be a priest. I have a married friend who chose that as his saint when he was younger and he ended up being married.
And if you choose St. Joseph, that doesn't mean that you're going to be a married man one day.
Yeah.
It's not a fortune-telling thing.
Right.
But it is having just a great spiritual pal up in heaven.
Yes. And so maybe you came to this video and you're in probably like a few different camps. I used to teach RCIT, so I taught confirmation class to high school students. And I always had like a bunch of different kids from a bunch of different backgrounds. So some kids came in and they didn't know a saint name to save their life. If someone was like, you need to name a saint for me right now, they couldn't do it.
Saint
John.
Bob.
But they just didn't know any saints. And that's okay. A lot of people are in that boat. I was in that boat. So maybe you don't know any saints. Another situation you might be in is like, I know a few saints, but I don't know if I would pick any of them, or like maybe I want to know more. And then maybe you're here and you know like so many saints that it's overwhelming.
St. Teresa of Avila, St. Teresa of Calcutta, St.
Yeah.
Teresa of Lisieux.
You
St.
can
Ignatius of
name
Loyola,
a
St.
saint
Ignatius of
for
Antioch.
every letter in the alphabet, right? That's a little overwhelming. And so we kind of want to talk to like each of these three people and give you some advice for how to go about finding your confirmation saint if you're in one of these three camps.
So if you know 0 saints whatsoever, well, hey, congratulations. This is great. What an exciting time. I want to encourage you to learn about the saints. So St. Ignatius of Loyola, before he had his big conversion, wanted to be the greatest knight in the world. And then he picked up a book about the lives of the saints, and it just radically rocked his world. So we want to encourage you to learn about the saints. look them up, read some books about them. You can listen to the Saints Alive podcast on Hallow or Apple or Spotify. Someone here maybe helped co-found that little podcast, but I don't know who it was.
It's honestly an awesome podcast. If you want to know like the stories of saints specifically, you can just listen to it as you're going to school or like at nighttime before you go to bed. It's a great way to hear their stories and see if you connect with any of them. Another thing that I used to do when I taught classes for confirmation is we would just look up the saint of the day. Every saint has a feast day, so if you look up a feast day of like Saint's Feast Day today, you'll find a new saint every single day. So as you're preparing for confirmation to figure out your saint, look up the saint every day until you find one that you really resonate with.
And then also, you have probably things that you're passionate about. Maybe it's sports, maybe it's your studies, maybe it's your dog. There's a patron saint for just about everything. If you have something that you really love, look up the patron saint of that thing and learn about that saint.
Yeah, that's a great way to do that. And then maybe you're in the boat where you know like a few saints, you know that Mary's a saint, you know that Joseph's a saint, you just know a few of them, but you don't really resonate with them yet. I would say dive deeper into the ones that you already do know and really know their stories. Look up who they're the patron saint of. But then if you want to like expand your knowledge, go back to point 1 that we just mentioned, and there's a lot of resources to know more saints. Another fun thing that you could do is every time you meet a new Catholic person or someone that you haven't asked this question to before is ask them who their confirmation saint is and why. And I'm sure you will hear a bunch more saints that way.
Yeah, it's one of our favorite conversation starters when we meet new Catholic people is who's your confirmation saint? Because it just kind of gives a little bit of intel into who this person is.
Yeah, and if Tanner and I have known someone for a little while, we actually try to guess their confirmation saint, and that's like next level.
And we've been spot on
for a couple
times.
of them.
It's been pretty wild.
We've also been very wrong for a few, but it's really fun.
Yeah. And then finally, if you know all the saints, just left and right, you have them memorized, you can rattle off their stories. Maybe you're a little bit intimidated on just narrowing it down to one. You wish you could have 10 confirmation saints. What we want to say to you is don't be so scrupulous in making your decision. You don't have to worry about narrowing it down to just one. Just take it to prayer, trust the Lord, trust the saint that is put on your heart, and make a decision and the Lord will bless it.
And at the end of the day, whoever you pick, the Lord is going to bless that. So you don't need to be concerned that you might pick the wrong saint because the Lord is going to do something beautiful with that friendship.
Mm-hmm. And I love St. Ignatius. Ali loves St. Therese. I too love St. Therese. But we love a whole lot of saints. And so we don't just ask for their intercession. We have a whole saint squad that we use to intercede for us. And you can learn about how to make your own saint squad in a video we made right here. But just because you choose one confirmation saint doesn't mean you're stuck with just that one confirmation saint.
There's a whole communion of saints in heaven praying for us, not just one. So it's really beautiful.
So we hope that helps. We're really excited for you during this really exciting time. Confirmation is not a graduation, it's an initiation. And so be looking forward to all the graces that are going to be bestowed upon you when you receive that sacrament. And yeah, check out the Saints Alive podcast. It's not too bad. Shout out Alex and Melissa.
And if you're going through confirmation right now or RCIA or OCIA, just know that Tanner and I are praying for you during this process and just how exciting it all is. And we hope that this helps your process of picking out a saint a lot easier.
Yeah, please keep us in your prayers as well.
And we'll be praying for you.
God bless.
See you later.